Hey everybody, welcome back. So this is going to be episode 1 of my brand new revamped ultimate gun guide here for Black Ops 6 Zombies, and we're going to be taking a look at the Saug SMG, the brand new SMG that just launched with season 1, our very first DLC SMG. Now we are going to be talking about a whole lot of different numbers here in this video and in these guides. Now I want to just preface one thing: all of the numbers that we are going to be discussing, these are once we get the weapon to legendary rarity and triple pack-a-punch. That is what we're going to be basing everything off, the maximum damage that these weapons can do. And I'm not really going to show you any video or footage of me doing all this testing because honestly I feel like that's kind of boring. I'm going to give you a little bit of higher round footage. As you see, we are here in round 27 right now, and yeah, it's a vermin round, but I'll skip through that right now. Now we are also going to have a spreadsheet down in the description down below. That link is going to be there, and we are going to do one of these episodes for every single weapon here in Black Ops 6 Zombies. So if you got suggestions that you want to see in the very next upcoming episode, something you want to see sooner rather than later, make sure you are letting me know down in the comments so I know which weapons you guys want to see next. And we will be building upon this chart that we're going to have down there, and you're going to be able to sort these based on a number of different factors. I'm going to have their reload times, their movement speeds, their damage values, their damage per seconds, all of those things. They're all going to be down there, and we're going to talk about each individual weapon as we do the testing here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start with the build that I am using here for the Saug SMG. I'm going to go ahead and throw that up on screen for you. Of course, you can use your choice of optic. I have the suppressor, the CHF barrel, the extended mag 2, the CQB grip, the light stock, the steady aim laser, and the rapid fire. That is the build that I am using for all of the testing here. The CHF barrel is important for this, and the rapid fire is also important, as those are being factored in to the DPS for this weapon. So make sure you have those attachments on here if you want your numbers to match the numbers that you're seeing in this guide. So let's start first by discussing the movement speed. Now this is based on the build that I have for this weapon. You might be able to alter this in a couple of different ways if you use a different set of attachments, but this is for the set of attachments that I am using, and you are getting a movement speed of 6.3 meters per second with this weapon, which is pretty decent. That's relatively average for the SMGs in this category. It's not overly snappy and overly speedy, but it's pretty good. The mobility is good enough, and they finally fixed the reloading while tac sprinting. So thank you, Treyarch, for finally fixing that. We really needed that to be fixed. All right, moving on next to the reload speed, we have 3.4 seconds for the reload time. That is without speed cola. Now, of course, you have speed cola, it's going to be a whole lot faster, but this weapon with the build that we have on it right now is 3.4 seconds as reload time, which is atrociously slow for a game as fast-paced as Zombies. So you're going to want to alter that as best you can to make sure you have speed cola on this weapon. It is definitely 100% necessary, and it is one of the first perks that I would purchase with this weapon. Okay, now we're gonna start getting into all the juicy stuff. This is all of the stuff that you have came here to find out about this weapon, and then once we get through all of these damage values here, I am going to give you some of my thoughts and opinions after having used this weapon, getting it leveled up. I've got Opal unlocked on it, and I'll kind of give you some of my opinions here at the end of how well I think this weapon is gonna do here in Black Ops 6 Zombies. But we're gonna kick it off with a fire rate of 1017. Now that is with using rapid fire, and all of my numbers in the charts below are going to be using rapid fire and CHF barrel. So just keep that in mind. Those are attachments you gotta have. I know I've already said it, but yeah, your numbers are not going to match up if you're not using those attachments. Your base critical damage with this weapon is 3,648 damage to the head and 672 to the body. That is once you get legendary and triple pack-a-punch. That is the maximum amount of damage that this is going to do per bullet for this weapon here. Once you throw on Deadshot to this weapon, you are going to increase your base critical damage all the way up to 4,012. Now that is without using any augments for Deadshot daiquiri, so keep that in mind. I am doing the testing without using any Deadshot daiquiri augments, so those numbers will not reflect anything that you can equip augment wise on your Deadshot daiquiri. And before we start talking talking about all the DPS and the damage per second that this weapon is capable of doing, I want to talk about right now its damage to armor. Now, its damage to armor is 436. That is the maximum amount that you can do. And even if you are putting on the increased damage to armor pieces augment with your Deadshot Daiquiri, you're still only going to do 436. Either that augment does not work, it either works in a different way, or it is not working as intended in the game, because it does not increase the damage or reduce the number of shots that it takes to break armored zombies. So it has to be completely broken in this game right now, and I wish that they would address this in some sort of fashion, but I haven't seen anything about it. But it definitely does not seem to be working as intended. But with that said, your maximum damage per second with the Saug SMG against armored zombies is only 7,390 damage. And as you're watching the gameplay in the background and we're shooting into these hordes of zombies, you are seeing far more blue numbers pop up than you are seeing yellow or white numbers pop up, because the amount of armored zombies gets absolutely insane the higher and higher rounds that you go here. So that is probably one of the most, if not the most important number that you need for any weapon right now, is just how much damage is it doing against armored zombies. Now, the maximum damage per second that you can do with the Saug SMG is 61,834. That is hitting nothing but critical shots on zombies. That's the maximum amount of damage that you can do every single second that you are firing this weapon, as long as you have all of the attachments on the weapon that I have listed in the spreadsheet down below and that I presented to you in this video. And once you add Deadshot Daiquiri to that, that number is going to increase to 68,003. And maybe that extra 3 damage there, maybe that gets you an extra kill or 2 here, but right about 68,000 damage once you get Deadshot Daiquiri attached. And you can also increase that even further if you are using different augments for Deadshot Daiquiri, so keep that in mind. Again, I'm gonna mention none of this included any augments for Deadshot Daiquiri when I'm giving you those Deadshot numbers. And lastly, as far as damage numbers are concerned, your maximum damage per second against the body shots, or chest shots at least, it might be a little bit different if you're hitting foot or extremities, it's 11,390 with this weapon. So that brings me to my final thoughts and my opinions here on the Saug SMG. I think it is a very, very viable option. It is a very good gun. It is mobile. It does tons of damage. It's not going to be a super viable weapon for a high round strategy in this game, as very few weapons are going to be, as the more and more armored zombies that are on the map, the less and less damage that you're going to be doing. And unless Treyarch comes through and makes some adjustments to the amount of armored zombies that are on the map in these higher rounds, then I don't think we're going to be finding too many weapons at all that are going to be doing enough damage to be viable high round weapons. The biggest con that I found with this particular weapon was the ammunition, and I would strongly caution you to never, ever, ever run this weapon in akimbo. I did also do some testing running this gun in akimbo, and it does some pretty cool damage. You get 2 guns instead of 1. However, you run out of ammunition so fast, and especially at the higher rounds, you are not going to make enough essence back to spend the 5,000 to get more ammunition in this gun. And even using the single variant, there are times at a little bit of higher rounds here that I was playing well into the 30s that I wasn't making back my 5,000 essence on kills before I would run out of ammo. So managing your economy with this weapon at really high rounds would be a little bit difficult, and especially once you hit the 40s and the 50s, you probably aren't going to earn back 5,000 by the time you run out of ammunition, just simply because of the damage that you do against the armored zombies. But overall, I would say that this is a very solid choice of a weapon that you're going to, if you're just going to go in and go to round maybe 31, maybe 36, if you really want to push it, go ahead and do that. As far as a high round weapon, this one is not going to be it. But make sure you check out that spreadsheet down below. There are going to be lots more episodes. We're going to do this for every single weapon, and make sure you let me know down in the comments down below what weapons you want to see next. And also make sure you do me a favor, because this takes a lot of time, and at least smash that like button. It's completely free, and it helps the channel a ton. It helps me get in front of new viewers, so I do appreciate that. And if you want to check out something else that I randomly decided to link here, go ahead and click on this video. My name is CoolHwip, and I'm out.